Hello, I am still in Estonia, and this is the Loud Lens, technically live. Well, recording it live from the Hide. Hashtag live at the Hide. Phil is still with me, who owns with his lovely partner.
Can I, but wait, first, it's live from the Hide.
Did I put?
Live in the Hide.
Sorry, technical deal. I'm going to bleep that out now. You've put to me. This is my podcast. No, you're right. I'm not like the certain ginger guy in power who corrects everybody and demands that they follow him. This is not the Gulf of America. It is live from the Hide. Sorry, I actually have a mug with it on. Anyway, we are talking about shooting wildlife and why you don't need to disappear to a completely other country in the far, far off, and instead perhaps try Estonia. Now, I know I'm biased because I am currently in Estonia, and I am here on a trip with Wildlife Dreams, a company that helps photographers actually get into the field and photograph wildlife. No zoo setup.
Fox.
Oh my God, there's a fox. Wait, oh my God. Sorry, we're recording this.
Yeah.
There's a fox, literally. Oh, is that? Oh my God, he's staring at us. Does he want to be on the podcast?
I think he does. It's white tip.
White tip. Oh, sorry. That's oh my God. He's there just watching us. I wish we were recording this as a video. That would be amazing. But we're not. I apologize. There's no insert bear here, but technically you have had a bear here, haven't you? And technically you have, and now we've had a fox.
Yeah.
And we're going
And a boar and an elk.
And an elk.
And lots of woodpeckers and
a weird girl with bright red hair.
Yeah, which the raccoon dogs loved last night.
Did not eat me though. We're going to talk about how you actually get into wildlife photography, from what gear you actually need, how your mindset matters more than your megapixels, which is a nice little bit of alliteration for you, and most importantly, why you don't need to fly to Kenya. Is it Kenya or Kenya?
Kenya.
Oh, why do I say Kenya? Is that because it's an Americanism?
Northampton.
I don't know. I only live there. Or Alaska or the Antarctic for your first shot at shooting something wild. Okay, so
that should be from your garden.
Okay, so we are going on to this. So most people think wildlife photography is just camping out with a 600mm lens, sipping coffee while a bear walks into a perfect frame. And we all know it's not. And this is my, by the way, this is my first ever official, I am officially saying Khandie photography is off doing wildlife photography. I'm not just shooting the odd bird crapping in my garden. I have to say, it's not been uncomfortable at all, which is, I'm utterly spoiled. If you go to wildlife-dreams.com, you'll understand exactly why I'm not uncomfortable. I am in a state-of-the-art hide and it looks like it's come out of The Hobbit. It's incredible. It is not cold, although I imagine if you went to other hides, it might be cold and it might be muddy and quiet for hours. And the photography, from what I know, speaking to you, is full of missed moments, false alarms, and in my case, was that a branch or was that an animal? And you just roll your eyes at me. But when it works, you've just heard me get excited about fox. But these aren't like foxes we see in the UK. This is a wild fox that's less human contact here, because we are, what, 2.5 hours away from the nearest transport system, it feels like. And what I was worried about when I came over was that I might need a lot of gear. So I'm seeing, when I did a quick Google search, and you will agree with Phil, we did this, there are a lot of beginner photographers out there obsessing over gear and kitting and not really thinking about the animal. Is that true? We were talking, there was a lot more aspects on that. So we're going to talk about learning. But first, I have to ask Phil, as someone who has literally lived everywhere in the world, including had a plane crash in Alaska, did safaris in Africa, what made you come to Estonia? I mean, what?
What?
I mean, it can't be the weather. It's raining right now.
It is. So, anyone that knows me, I have a story for everything, and a memory for everything, and the picture says 1,000 words. Very
cliche boy.
But why did I come to Estonia? So everything is almost about contacts, and I'm very much like my dad. So anyone who knows my dad knows that I will talk to anyone. So I was working for Jessop's Wildlife Academy, which I set up for Peter Jones, and I was always scouting for new locations to teach people wildlife photography or give them a better experience. So I was in Hertfordshire, where I did my big cat experience, and had some free time, and I went down to the local Hertfordshire Hyde, so it was the Hertfordshire Wildlife Trust, to photograph green sandpipers in their watercress meadow because it would be a different shot.
Okay.
And I was speaking to the warden and he went, "Hi, Phil. How are you? Blah, blah, blah," because I can't go anywhere in the world without bumping into someone that I know. And he said, "Phil, have you been to Estonia?" And I looked at him and said, "Where is Estonia?
Even I did that.
Uh, uh, and what does Estonia have?" And he said, "It is amazing, Phil. You'll love it. My son is going out with an Estonian woman. I went over there and he said the country is so beautiful, clean, amazing wildlife." And
Well, we just interject on the wildlife for here because I did a quick search. You can get lynx, wolves, bears, eagles, golden eagles, and what was the one you said? White-tailed eagles, owls, storks, woodpeckers galore. We drove to your second potential location for a
Yes.
new hide, and we went, what was it, 2 storks just casually having a chin wag walking through a field?
Yeah.
And they're not like, you know, when you see drawings of stork, I'm talking to the millennials out here, when the stork that delivers the baby pictures, and you're like, oh, they're never that big. They are ginormous. They're not quite an ostrich. They're like, they are quite tall though.
Yeah. Yes. They're very tall and they nest on top of telegraph poles.
Did see a nest, didn't we?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And then we saw a gigantic hare.
We did. I kept missing them though. I only caught them at the glimpse of my eye.
Yeah.
I missed them by a hair's breadth.
No, and so now you cut me at a very low.
Sorry.
So I googled Estonia exactly for what you said, and then contacted the Estonian Tourist Board to do some bear photography with Natra East, and I know Bert now for 15, 16 years.
You want name dropping here?
No, I didn't say his surname, but
Oh.
he's a friend on Facebook.
We'll go for Bert on your Facebook now.
I got picked up by a very good friend now, Marco, and Estonian Tourist Board really looked after me and Ian. And then there'd be a story about me snoring in a bear hide and knocking the bed with his shoe because I keep him awake. And
We're going off on tangent
I
now.
do go off on tangent, but it was just absolutely amazing, and I fell in love with Estonia.
So that's why you decided this was where you're going to be.
And this is where I decided where I'd be. And 15 years later,
You're here still.
I'm here. Yeah.
So for those who don't know, Estonia is in the Baltics.
Yes.
And it's bordering Russia, Latvia, and
Finland.
Is it bordering Finland?
Well, the sea is.
The sea is. So it's not. Yeah. And I know there's a lot of Finnish that come to Estonia, and this is like their beer cruise. Someone told me.
Yes.
So Estonia is one of the most forested countries in Europe. Over 50% of it's covered in trees. It has bogs, meadows, rivers, wetlands, and the more biodiversity people give it credit for. Okay. Now they do also have this environment where it's been preserved partly because of the former Soviet restrictions on it. There's large parts of land that's untouched, and today it's become hotspots for conservation. It's also one of Europe's. This is what I found on Google. One of Europe's most digitally advanced societies, and yet they managed to balance that with an insane connection to nature. In fact, they even have a national forest day where people are told to go walk barefoot in the woods. I mean, that's quite rock and roll in terms of nature.
And it's got the cleanest air in Europe. And you've actually found that.
Yeah, I'm not had to use if you might know, I have something wrong with my lungs. And that's why over my podcast, you might have heard me being raspy and heavy breathing. It's not because I'm really excited. I actually do have it on my lungs. And I have only used my inhaler once when we were here, which if my asthma nurse is out there, because that's who I'm currently under, she'll be very proud of that. But yeah, there is a.
So you could be moving to Estonia.
I actually we all know I love this sort of area of Europe, and I do love traveling. I have had a great time, but I've yet to try this famous cake shop, which we will be putting on our Instagram when we finally go to be those Instagram people. But so obviously I have Phil here, and I am here as part of Wildlife Dreams. Please note, I was gifted this, but I can be brutally honest. You have told me the only grumble I have is that I stay awake all night because I want to hear what's outside. There is no. I've had the really good time. I know you're right here, and I will tell you, even the cornflakes are good, mate.
And what was the first thing you said to me this morning? We had someone outside our hide,
Yeah.
and I wanted to go and see it, but I didn't want to go, which is good.
Because I was worried it might be a bear, but we have discovered this morning a very large animal has made an indent near the lake or near the pond that we've got here, which we are going to do a video on YouTube so you can actually see what this hide looks like. I'm going to do a video, show you all. It is there, isn't it? And you were like, yeah, something big to make that. I'm thinking Mr. Bear came out. So I want to talk about like the ethical side of wildlife photography and about the basics and stuff. So Wildlife Dreams is your baby,
Yes.
you and your lovely partner.
Yep.
So, given your vast experience as a wildlife photographer, why do you think a lot of people, particularly beginning photographers, feel like they need off to go to Africa and other places to photograph, and can I say this in inverted commas, proper wildlife? Do you think a lot of places then get overlooked, particularly like Estonia?
Estonia is going to be Europe's newest wildlife hotspot. For Africa, obviously, people who know me know that I actually love Africa, and I've been photographing in Africa for over 30 years. And Africa gets in your blood. So once you go to Africa, it is probably, apart from now, Estonia, the only country that you'll go back again and again and again. And it is so big. So it's
Do you think that's why beginner photographers are sort of encouraged to go because they see the hype from other photographers who are buzzing for it?
no, it's called marketing.
See, but you've just said yourself it gets into your blood.
It does, because once you go to Africa, there is something about it now. And I believe it's because obviously it's the cradle of mankind, and it's where actually we come from. So
Controversially, that's going to cause some ruffles. I'm here for you people because science cannot be denied.
no, you can get you can go to the in South Africa, and it's 30 minutes outside of Johannesburg, of where the first mankind come from, and the bones. And
Don't upset. There's going to be some. Hopefully, they're not on my podcast, but there's a certain group of people that don't believe we're in any way related that way. Yeah, we won't talk about. I'm being controversial. I've had a few threats to from me when I outed a few of them for their slightly off-point views. But anyway, back onto this one. Do you think then that when I have to say, I went onto some of the Facebook groups because I was like, my first picture, I was like very proud.
Yeah.
And I happened to go into this Facebook group and I was going to post it and I had a quick scroll through, you with me. And the posts were, but it's just a bird. And that really annoys me because I was really proud. What was it? My woodpecker. And everyone was like, yeah, but it's not real wildlife. And I'm like, it's wild, it's alive. Does that not count? There is a sort of elitism that is. I thought portrait photography groups on Facebook were a nasty cesspit. Go in the amateur wildlife groups. That is going fighting bareback with 6 beasts. Like it means quite apt. It's insane in there. They are horrible to each other. Not all of them.
Not all of us. And like any social media, you get the trolls, and you should always love each other and make the nicest comments.
Can you help critique my work?
Yes.
You said crop that. That looks awful.
Yeah. Normally critique because if you've taken a picture, it's very special for you and it could be your proudest moment, and you don't want a douchebag.
You don't want someone doing a steaming pile of turd on it.
No. And so that's
I appreciate your turd, just so you know.
good.
Thank you. So how does your, just going back to the ethics of it, Wildlife Dreams run differently from, say, your typical photo tour? What's your approach when it comes to ethics and education? And I know I did prep you with these.
I know. There is an awful lot of good tour companies. And if you don't do the right ethics and everything else, you won't actually survive now, because wildlife tourism is one of the biggest growth industries in the world, and there's a lot of choice. So actually, if you're not ethically right and not giving the right experiences, it's like anything, you won't survive in a cutthroat industry. And it doesn't matter what industry you're in, everybody knows everybody
Okay.
in the industry, you know? So, yeah, you just have to think, right, animals matter, and wildlife matters. So it's about giving them the space, and helping conservation with photography.
Mhm.
Because if you want to save wildlife, you have to see it. You have to provide habitat, and it's another reason why of coming to Estonia and doing what we're doing is that we sold everything in the UK and we bought over 20 acres of land right next door to a nature reserve so that the forests don't get cut down. Um, Animals have corridors. There's the flying squirrel in Estonia, but it's becoming extinct
Oh.
because they cut down all the forest around its habitat. So actually the grey squirrel that eats aspen trees doesn't have a way to travel to find a mate or to eat. So actually, since we've been in Estonia, we've joined Save the Estonian Forests, and we're already members of Estonian Nature Tourism Association. I should be at the Global Bird Fair speaking about what we've done in Estonia. So if you're going to the Global Bird Fair in Leicestershire, Rutland in July, come and see us
I feel I might be going just to be fangirly now.
visit Estonia. Yeah, you can actually heckle me on stage.
Instead of you heckling me when I'm on stage. If you don't know, we met at the photography and video show a couple of years ago, and then, but you came to my first talk there, and then in the one in London, wasn't it? So for those who don't know, you can listen to our last podcast we've just done with Phil. It tells you our story.
I'll go off tangent constantly,
Yeah.
like we're doing here. So
So you basically do a lot to ensure that even though you have a hide here, not only are you respectful for the landscape and the land, you also want to preserve it for future generations and the wildlife that already exists.
yeah, so we have 18 acres of land, and people said, "Have you explored it?" And I went, "No."
I know I asked you. We say people, I asked you.
You asked me, and
Because I had this vision that we were going to be like, dances with wolves go wandering off, that we were going to happen across, like, and this is how I die.
stuck in a bog.
Probably.
No, so the hide is set in a forest clearing um, on the land, and we've set up this amazing state of the art wildlife hide. So the wildlife go past us, so they can live their own lives without having the smell of us or being disturbed or
I mean, it is it that just to, I mean, we're gonna do a video to show this, but it is natural woods of
yes,
Estonia here, isn't it?
yes,
Of the building. You've got photographic glass on all the windows.
very special glass.
Yeah, and it's fantastic, honestly. It's one way, so the animals can't see in, so you're not observing it. You have very minimal amenities here, like you know, it's all as much natural as possible. There is a full working kitchen, and you have everything like that, but like everything else is just like shower facilities is old school, isn't it? But welcome to being in a hide. We've got internet though, but we do have a TV, the world's largest TV, I swear, and high speed internet. So for those who are content creators, you're not isolated, and you can still do your work, but you still have the main elements of a hide. Because when I was watching YouTube last night, I was looking at hides, and most hides that I was watching on YouTube are literally what looks like a bus shelter
Yeah.
with a bit of like camouflagey stuff over it, and everyone was like, "Yeah, it's great." And I'll be like, "That's fantastic." But on my first time, I don't want to be freezing my butt off. So I'm quite grateful that I'm here, but I can see this feels like a step up. I'll be honest. This feels like I've gone to like some swanky hotel in the world of hides. But you are this. We're looking out now. Obviously, I would refer back to the video we're going to do in a minute. Well, later we're going to record this and go. There is this lovely grassy mound that is in front of us, but also the pond, which is not too far away, and then it goes back up, it undulates the land. So you get all these different aspects. And we've been sat here this morning and we have seen numerous bird breeds. I mean, we interrupted this podcast early with a fox coming past us. This is what I'm saying. It's beautiful here. I do feel like I'm on a wilderness retreat for like any minute now. Someone's gonna like be doing yoga stretches in front of me or something. It feels surreal. Oh, I feel like I'm on a movie set, but it's 100% natural.
Yes.
You have helped nature a little bit by creating little perches for the animals.
Yes.
But you move those around, don't you? I saw that on your website. You've got the lake there that you have put more fish in just to help with the control of the algae and encourage, obviously, wildlife. But it's all local farmers have done this for you, local people, all the fish are local. Everything's has to be Estonian.
Yeah, and it's working with local communities and being embedded with local village life. And
These guys love it, don't you, that you're here? That was very clear we went to a brewery yesterday. I would say we went for work, but we definitely came home with beer as well. Oh, what's that bird? Don't tell me it's a boring crow because I'll cry.
no, it's a blackbird.
Oh, it's a blackbird. Baked in a pie.
Yeah.
We went there and they love you. Like you were like welcomed more than Justin Bieber is at a teeny boppy concert. They love you, don't they? Look at him, he's going pink now. He's going pink. Literally, people were coming out to go, hi. Honestly, it was a little welcoming party. It was very lovely.
Yeah, and I think it's because of bringing work to the community. So what's happening in Estonia is everything's going back almost to rewilding. So 75% of the population now live in Tallinn, which is the capital. So you've got these pockets of villages where the children of today don't want to work on a farm. They want to work in IT. They want to travel the world. And Estonia used to feed the Russian army. So with their wheat and their fish and pools. So
there is a lot of farmland here we drove through, and there's a lot of having someone who's obsessed with Norway, if you know, you know. I was really shocked at how I shouldn't be that shocked because obviously Finland, Scandi, and all that, how very similar the architecture is, but also just love how the guys here have these beautiful wooden homes.
Mixed in with old Soviet buildings.
Yeah, that's a bit all surreal. And I have to say, my little Wes Anderson heart was in love with it. The motoring trap. Right, by the way, this is a tangent, but we are going to go round at some point so I can have my little Wes Anderson moment of photographing these Soviet buildings because I'm a bit obsessed. That's going to be our next photo tour. Don't know if you know that.
Okay.
Phil's not happy. He wants me to photograph birds.
No. It's
because I'm trying to encourage him to take me to go get cake.
I think almost.
That's segue into our future plans, isn't it?
Yes, and the beauty of Estonia that it's not just the amazing wildlife, it's the amazing landscape.
And the people.
Street photography, architecture.
This is all coming, we can't tell everyone yet, that's coming in our latest podcast, right? Let's get back to this one.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, so what kind of gear would you recommend for someone who is literally, someone woke up today, they've got a camera already, and they went, fancy being a wildlife photographer. What would be the gear that you would say they need? Now, I'm not saying, excuse me, that coffee's gone down the wrong way. Excuse me. Almost burped live on air. What would be the thing you go, do you know what, guys, this is where you need to invest? Because I Googled what I needed to take and I was like, you what? There was a lot of stuff. There was a woodpecker.
Yeah, great spotted male woodpecker.
Hey, I'm going to call that Bert, that one. You don't name yours.
It was just you with your coffee.
Oh. But no, I said Bert, not Verb, because the spider's called Norman, so I can't call that one Norman.
And I do need to clean my glass.
No, it's fine. I like it. So what gear would you recommend someone getting? Like, we did say about the glass, didn't you?
Yes. And anyone knows me from my Jessop's days.
Good old Jessop's.
Good old Jessop's.
Are they still doing?
Yeah, I got 1 or 2 stores. It's all about the glass, and it's about the quality of the glass.
Okay.
And good glass doesn't lose its quality. So you can go to a number of places. I use MPB a lot.
Yeah, MPB. Also Wex.
And
don't be afraid to buy used.
Also London Camera Exchange.
Oh yeah, I love them. Do you know what? I got a cracking lens from them a couple of years ago.
You know, And actually, London Camera Exchange.
Are you trying to get a brand deal now? Come on, name them. What was their name again?
London Camera
Oh,
Exchange
what was that? London Camera.
might be coming out in September with my very good friend Mark.
You drop in those names.
He's got his ticket and that.
Oh, I might swan back in.
So no, but at the end of the day, it is the quality of glass. So I would buy best quality glass I could afford.
What kind of focal length? I mean, I'm amateur girl come in, but what would be like a nice all round? Like, I'm not talking like we're going to safari and we're shooting a lion that's half a mile away. Maybe if we were here for your hide, what would be a good?
I have purposely set up various distances, but
I've got the 70 to 200 because we're doing. I booked more for the fashion stuff I'm doing. Those two are having a fight, mate. Those two. Oh, there's more birds now. What is it? I swear, is Mary Poppins round? Not Mary Poppins. Yeah, it's Mary Poppins with the birds, isn't it? Yeah. They always come to her.
So that was great spotted baby woodpeckers with their mother showing where the feeding station is, and it is just going a bit manic at the moment.
So there's a Disney princess about to pop up somewhere singing. There's that many birds floating around here.
So no flamingos there, but we can put a pink flamingo in the hide at Vegas. No, so no, we're going off tangent. So I've set up everything using a 100 to 400 focal length.
Oh, that's nice.
So, which is one of the most popular.
To interrupt you. Yeah. That woodpecker just twatted his brother off the perch. Oh, so you got loads of butterflies out today?
Yes.
Sorry, I just wanted to point out. There's loads here. So I like the fact that you could just bring your 7200 and still get some cracking images, but you have looked at those distances. So don't forget you can rent as well.
Yeah.
And you can
lens for hire.
Lens for hire, and also like buying secondhand is fine.
Yep.
Like I just want to put that we're girls we're in a financial situation, people. We need to be economical with our money. The other thing I would recommend is extra batteries.
Most definitely.
And because we're inside the hide, so imagine we're inside this. Obviously, you want your layers, extra batteries, and what else would you recommend? Just one other thing. Tripod. I mean, you supply tripods here.
We supply tripods,
which is a nice plus because you don't have to put that in your luggage.
No, and bean bags.
But what would you recommend if someone was going to go out? I would recommend a hot water bath.
Yes.
I'm joking.
I would say bring as much memory cards as you want, and we've got power. So
and not just and a stool if you were doing this outside of the hide, something to because you know.
But we've got nice chairs.
Yeah, we do. We are very lucky. So here it's just memory cards and batteries.
Memory cards.
Okay.
And batteries.
Okay. So I make this mistake. What do you think is the top 3, in your opinion, in no particular order, to take less pressure off you, mistakes that beginner photographers make when they're shooting wildlife?
Not using a tripod.
But don't look at me. I've been freewheeling handing it.
A bit depending on your focal length.
Yeah.
Obviously, most wildlife will come early morning, late at dusk. So any photography, you need to keep that lens still.
Okay.
So having a decent tripod and head is the most fundamental.
You've got a few around here.
I've got a few.
I say that. I'm literally, it looks like an army lineup. They're all stood in a line over there. There's various different, some that I've never seen before in my life, like this one that is like mounted on a board that swings around left and right and upside down.
So that's a gimbal.
I know it's a gimbal, but you've mounted it, so it's a lot swanky.
So you can just pick it.
And this is just here at your high to use.
Yes. There's again weight with aircraft.
Yeah.
The house. So that we want to make sure that you just have to take as bare minimum when you're traveling, which is another story about we could do.
So we need to do the next one. Next tip 2. You got 2 more to go.
2 more to go.
So top 1, quick one, real quick one off the top of your head.
Always carry spare batteries.
Yay! Because the cold can deplete your battery quite quickly, which I think a lot of people don't realise, but equally in heat as well.
Yes.
But mostly cold. I found that in Norway when I was working, it really eats through. And some nuggets forget to bring the adapter for the country they're in. Not this one, but she has had to loan her adapter out to many a people because people don't.
Yeah.
Because I've got an all country one, so.
And the biggest problem that people have adapters
Well,
is when they go to South Africa, because they all buy travel plugs, and the South African plug is different, and it's not ever on a travel plug. But that's we can do another blog about
okay,
travel tips.
we're going off on a tangent. Right, last tip. It's not the most important, but which one would you? We've done 2, so come on. Tripod batteries. What's the other mistake people make?
It's not a zoo if you're using hides. Patience. And hide photography is not for everyone, because we are out in the wild. You never know what's going to come past. We've had a fox. We've had 15 species of birds just while we're doing.
And yet yesterday when we were sat here, we had probably 2 hours with nothing, right?
Yes.
But that's what I like about this, because I feel like zoos, as much as they do great work, you're guaranteed to at least get an animal there to photograph because they're kind of in that place. They don't have the free roam.
But a lot of zoos aren't. And it's changing, but, they have wired too close, and you get that in there. You can't use your aperture to blow it out, or the light's in the wrong place, or
So you have that issue with zoos. Whereas here, you don't get a guaranteed what's going to show up. So you do have to exercise caution. Do you think a lot of people feel because social media kind of cuts out the 2-hour wait time of someone's waiting to get that one shot of that owl, it's kind of made us feel like if you go somewhere, you can immediately get wildlife shots. Whereas it's taken away, guys, you've got to slow down and get the patience.
supermarket photography.
So it's like your convenience is always there.
So, yes, and people don't realize waiting hours to get that one shot, or that silhouette with a leopard in a tree, and you're there waiting for that leopard to come down, and
There's another bird. Yes, sorry. And another one, look, there's 2. That's a big chunky one, isn't it? Look at that up there. Look at it.
it's a buzzard.
What is it?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's massive. Anyway, so we're going to go back to some top tips, beginner survival tips, what I've learned from you, what I've learned from the old Tinterweb, and what we've discussed here. So tip, when you're first starting out, remember this is beginners, you're thinking, okay, it's cool, but how do I start? So we discussed this, staying local. Doesn't mean going to a zoo though, it means staying local. Don't underestimate the foxes that you've got in your area, the birds in your local park. Wildlife is everywhere. Estonia has basically taught me you don't need to go remote, although we are remote now. But what's more important is you need to pay attention, which is weird because my attention has been jumping from this podcast to all the animals outside. But you said this, didn't you? Like people need to practice at least more locally before they.
Yeah, you can do wildlife is anywhere. I was lucky enough with my childhood, which was very special, that I was brought up in the New Forest in Hampshire, in Abridge actually, and I didn't have any friends growing up. I had
You get my little violin out. Just tuning it.
I had school friends. I lived 3 miles from anywhere, and I had a taxi pick me up and take me to school because there was no street lighting. What it did mean is that when I got home and after I did my chores, I would go into the woods and I'd watch badger, foxes, learnt my fieldcraft from a very young age.
So this comes on to the next 2 ones I had, which was study the subject, which is about what you have to know about animal behaviours. And you need to know, what's the tip you say? When is a bird about to take off, Phil? What did you tell me they do?
When a bird has a poo, get ready to shoot.
Which is really funny because I was laughing at the buzzard doing a massive dump and then it literally flew off.
Yeah.
And I missed the shock. I was too busy laughing at it. So there's a top tip. If the bird drops a doozy, they're about to fly off. I think I've met a bloke who's done that before. Sorry. That's a bit of an off film. So that's your thing. And the other one is Fieldcraft. Like, I know a lot of people talking about silent shutters, but what did you say about a shutter? Why do you like? not so much a silent shutter. Apart from people are going to come at me and going, the banding and what? Why do you like a shutter, Phil?
Why do I like a clunk?
Why do you like a clunk?
So silent shutters are really good that you can photograph animals without disturbance. But obviously here we have special one-way glass from Photologistics in Spain that the animals don't see you. But in the field, it used to be in the olden days when it was mechanical that a deer would be eating and eating and eating, and then you would just then take a picture and it would go clunk and the deer would look up and you take a picture. With a silent shutter, the animal doesn't hear anything, and what you don't,
which has good sides and bad. Like, good sides for the animal, and then I can understand why
animals don't like to be disturbed.
I think I'm an animal.
And if an animal gets frightened or spooked, the first thing it will do is flee because it thinks it's going to be eaten. It doesn't know what it is. So as long as an animal knows that you're there, and every animal has a safety distance, and you shouldn't cross that boundary between you and an animal. And an animal will let you know, actually, whether you're too close. It will give a warning sign. It will snort. It will stamp its foot.
Again, I feel like I identify with these animals in the wild. This is my no-nos.
All behavior is very important, and then that gives you that extra special image. If you know something where it eats, sleeps, and drinks, then you have a better chance of actually drawing that image.
You know what made me laugh? When you were just talking then about where you eat, sleeps, and drinks, I can't help but feel like a lot of my street photography is really just wildlife photography. I photograph people going about their business, and I watch their behaviors. I know humans are animals, and some of them do behave like animals. But yeah, it's quite the crosser. I thought I would be absolutely pants. I'll be honest at this, because I've never done it, and actually it's quite meditative. Do this. I quite enjoyed it, but there is a lot of,
I think, since
crossover.
COVID, we've lost our connection with nature. And yeah, this is very much a wellness, and there's lots of people that do that sorts of things. And the brewery tour have got lovely ancient Estonian farm buildings where you can stay in. We're looking at a special retreat for creative people yesterday.
We sat and talked about this. Again, we'll do this on a later.
We're doing something else. Yeah, it is about this connection that you have.
Did you see, as Estonia has Hug a Tree Day?
Hug a tree day, and I did hug a tree yesterday.
You did. It was a birch.
A birch,
which had gratings round at the bottom because of the beavers.
Yes.
So they have beavers. I couldn't believe how big the beaver. I was such a child when we were sat there talking about beavers. I was trying to keep a straight face because I was at that point where I was really tired and I acted like a child, and everyone else was laughing, so they all got it with me. I wasn't being, but it was the fact we were talking about beavers and how big the beavers were in Estonia. I'm glad everyone else thought it was funny. I mean, you laughed before I did. So it's not my fault. Anyway, back on business. So what you're saying is respect the space, practice without pressure, and you're on to a good one.
Yes.
Okay. So I think we need to call that. I think this is an episode. It's gone on for like nearly 40 minutes of us gas back in. Mostly me interrupting you.
Oh. Yes, and you've got another 10 or 15 questions.
No, I'm not doing that today. I'm doing that later.
God.
Okay, that's it for today's episode of The Loud Lens. Massive thanks to Phil here and the team. I say the team, you and your partner, at Wildlife Dreams, for showing me what ethical, immersive wildlife photography is, particularly as me as an absolute novice.
And can I point out, as though you are a novice, your buzzard photographs that you took yesterday were really, really good.
He's not saying that because I did not make him a coffee this morning.
I've never made me.
No, I'm not going to.
So, but
I'm not going to.
If Khandie can do it.
The passive dig. Listen, if absolute muppet can do it, honestly, you can. Is that where you were going with this? Yeah, cool. Thanks, Phil. Yeah. So on that note, if you're even remotely curious about trying wildlife photography, especially in a place like Estonia, do it. Obviously, do it when Phil's not here. I'm joking. I'm joking. Don't be afraid to get up early, get muddy, sit in silence, which is weird because I haven't at all in this interview, and it will change where you see. You must follow Wildlife Dreams on Instagram, Facebook, the old YouTube, the TikTok, as you called it the other day. And if you want to see some of my shots from this trip, head over to my Insta, Khandie Photo, or I've put some on my own YouTube channel. But if this episode hits home, share it with a mate who thinks wildlife only exists in National Geographic. Let's expand the damn map, and I'll see you all in Estonia. So until next time,
Can I say
go on.
something?
No, Phil, you're going to insult me.
No.
Go on.
Tomorrow,
Yeah.
we are going really wild because I'm being taken out of my comfort zone.
So we were going to talk about this. Phil is coming to a fashion shoot. So it's a skill swappage, and now you're going to be shooting my wildlife. So until next time, keep it honest, keep it ethical, I guess, and keep shooting, little ones. Bye from Phil and I, who have become those two old grumpy Muppet men in the Muppets. What are they called? Woolstop and Stack.
Tell us, what is the name of the two old people in?
Google it.
Oh, yeah. We got Wi-Fi, see, so we can Google it.
Let's just Google it. See you later. Bye.